So it looks like the whole internet wants to know if the Gibson Dave Mustaine is better than the Dean Dave Mustaine, or vice versa. So this one is the Korean early 07 Dave Mustaine Dean, but I put the Thrash Factor pickups in there, and this is just the stock Gibson 2022 Dave Mustaine V. The interesting thing is they both have the same woods and the same pickups. One has nitro finish and one's going to have that polyurethane stuff. And people also want to know about the Gibson Dave Mustaine versus the Jackson Dave Mustaine KV1. Spoiler alert, there's no fucking comparison. This thing is king. I'm going to do a comparison mostly with the Dean and the Gibson. Yes, this isn't the USA model, but they're still pretty much on par with each other. Like, the build quality is, I would say, even. And my USA one, I will show through the video, but it has the live wires, so it's going to sound drastically different because those are active Seymour Duncans, where these both are passive. As I said before, we're going to do a little comparison also with the USA Dean Dave Mustaine Korina VMNT with the Saramonic Livewire active pickups, and just show just a little bit of how this guitar sounds as well. But I didn't think it would be that great of a comparison through the rest of the guitars because these are active pickups. But all in all, still excellent instrument. All three of these guitars would fit as a good thrash guitar, a very comfortable guitar, an aggressive sounding guitar, a guitar with lots of sustain and comfort, and with the amount of frets that you want, 24 frets. Most of these have Duncans. The Jackson has the Jackson pickup, which I think might be ceramic, and then the Bill Lawrence. But that's in itself. So the Gibson's made in USA, the Dean is made in Korea, and the Jackson's made in Japan. And in my opinion, all three are just even on quality. Like, it doesn't seem that there's certain details missing that shouldn't be there on all three guitars. And the USA one is built excellent too on the Dean. Me as a V player and me as a Megadeth fan, yet alone a Dave Mustaine fan, I like having all three. Is having a good high-end Dean or V and a killer Jackson. And then there's this new Gibson line that's pretty fun. And it just kind of reminds me of the Y2KV that Jackson made in the early 2000s and late 90s for Dave. And those are not only stupid expensive, but damn near impossible to find. So this is an excellent alternative if you kind of like that era where Mustaine was playing a flying V with Jackson. This was a hell of an era with Megadeth and Dave Mustaine, was the VMNT era. I grew up on this era, so maybe I'm biased a little bit somewhere, but I've always loved these guitars. The black version of this exact guitar made in Korea was my workhorse for years until I could find a silver one that I really liked. And the live wires are excellent, and obviously these thrash factors that came out way later are really good too. I like that the Dean has a thinner neck, especially the very early 07, 08, maybe about 2010 era where they were making these in Korea. The neck profile on it felt like the Jackson profile, so it was so familiar to play a guitar like this where it pretty much felt like the King V. I'm a big fan of looking at this fretboard, by the way. In fact, I would almost argue that this is the better aesthetically pleasing inlay set, is these little tiny dots next to these shark tooth inlays, where Jackson does the shark fin inlay. And I really like this design. It's definitely my favorite fret marker probably ever. And it's so nice to look at. These guitars are very balanced. I'm a huge fan of the Dunlop strap locks where they recessed the strap button. There's no strap button in here until you put your strap lock in there. These were very balanced, very comfortable guitars. They're some of my favorite guitars in the world. I don't think this video is made to be about what guitar is better, because again, there's no comparison. It's the KV1. To me, this guitar is perfection. There's nothing better than it, in my opinion. The Jackson KV1, Dave Mustaine. This is my favorite guitar in the world, I believe. I like the way the wheels that the strings are being held on feel on my palm. I like that Dave put a Bill Lawrence pickup in the neck so he could have more frets. I think it's got the most comfortable neck ever. It's super thin. It's kind of D-shaped, but at the same time it's kind of C-shaped, so it's almost a hybrid. I love the binding. They all have pretty much medium frets, which is good, in my opinion. The Jackson headstock alone, like, it's just classic. Like, aesthetically, like, this is the greatest headstock. Even though the Dean headstock in function is actually superior to all three of the guitars. But the Jackson's just classic. I like the way the neck joint is, too, when it comes to getting to the other frets. There's a little bit of extra wood that's in the way, but it kind of needs to be there because the King V in itself just needs to look like this. But it's not too hard. Like, I've noticed, like, all three guitars have good fret access to the upper frets. So it's not really struggling. I think it's comfortable. But even though my thumb gets stopped around near the 17th fret, it's still a very comfortable guitar to grab on the higher frets. and do your solos. Hail to the king. So the bonus guitar, the USA Korina, Dean Dave Mustaine with the Seymour Duncan live wires that are active. This guitar is still amazing too. Like, I have so much fun playing this thing. And it's absolutely a keeper, and my only Korina guitar right now. I really like Korina wood. It's just so beautiful to look at. The build quality on this is excellent too. Like, there's no complaints. I really like the string through the body too. That's very nice with the Dean design, was the string through the body. There is the Mustaine, that's the custom shop, that's going to be string through the body, but the rest of them have tail pieces. And tail pieces aren't always bad because you can change the tension of your strings. So some people might want to change the tension of their strings because the Gibson has 25.5-inch scale like all these guitars do, where Gibson usually has 24/7.5. And obviously, again, all these guitars have the same thing in common. They're all great. They're amazing to play. They're amazing to own. They sound so good. They're built. All of them are built excellent too. Like, I have no complaints about the ones that I own. And they've served me well. I've had some of them for years, and they're doing excellent. The newest one's the Gibson because it's new. But I'm definitely having fun with that.